We've got a fun Week 3 cross-conference matchup between Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills and the NFC East team that is formerly known as the Washington Football Team. They have been playing really well. Sam Howell has been really impressive. They had a great comeback win in Week 2 against Denver Broncos, and I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this has a sneaky chance to be the game of the week personally. And so I kind of want to quickly throw it over to you. What do you feel the Bills got to do to come away with a win here on the road, go to 2-1 and not have a losing record? And what do you think Washington has to do to stay undefeated?
To me, the Bills have to come out, control this defensive front, because if this defensive front starts going wild, that's going to shut down the Bills' run game that they've actually done a pretty decent job of establishing so far this year, and keeping Josh Allen upright. To me, that's been when Josh Allen can stand in the pocket, that's when the Bills are the most successful, because then not only does that open up lanes for him to go run through, but then also he can dice up defenses through the air. And to me, I think the Bills, they're going to be looking to kind of push the ball a little bit further down the field and take advantage of this weaker secondary. I know the secondary had a decent week last week against the Broncos, they only really giving up a few big plays.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Bills will be able to take advantage of that secondary if Josh Allen is given the time. What do you think the Commanders have to do to come out and win this one?
I think the biggest thing for me is they got to provide good pressure to Josh Allen. I still think the offensive line to me has some question marks. They had a great game against the Las Vegas Raiders, but at the same time, it is the Raiders. I definitely think that this is a step up in competition. This team could barely beat the Denver Broncos. And I know the Commanders, score-wise, barely beat the Denver Broncos, but outside of the first quarter where the Broncos got up to a hot start and took a little while for Sam Howell to get acclimated, the Commanders dominated that game. As soon as they get down 21-3, I think the Broncos really only put up another 3 points or 6 points offensively, not including the dumb Hail Mary at the end. So it's going to be providing a lot of pressure on Josh Allen, eliminating the run game for them, making them one-dimensional, which is fairly easy against the Bills. And on top of that, then they just need to keep doing what they've been doing on offense over these past couple of weeks. They started off slow in week 1 also, but then came along late in the second half. Sam Howell looked great against Denver. Great passes to Terry McLaurin. He really just took apart that Denver defense. I expect him to kind of do the same against this Bills defense. Still some vulnerabilities. I feel like we haven't really seen them. We haven't really seen them play good offense, and that might not be fair to say, just because they did shut down that Raiders offense, which has the potential to be really good.
I will give a little bit of pushback there. I don't think they really shut down the Raiders offense as much as they let them drive and then were opportunistic in turnovers. Matt Milano had a great interception, just ripping the ball away from Josh Jacobs. If you didn't see that, he literally just reached around him and then just pulled it away. I believe Jordan Poyer had an interception or recovered a fumble as well. And so for me, that is kind of why that game got so spread apart. And then after that, the Raiders became one-dimensional, and then the Bills were able to kind of shut them down when they started having to throw the ball a lot. And there wasn't that threat of having a balanced offense. So I think that, to me, is going to be kind of the key, is on the offensive side of the ball for the Commanders, is coming out and being balanced, getting that running game heavily involved. It looks like Jordan Phillips is questionable. Leonard Floyd is also questionable. And so they're going to be a little injured in the front seven, and I think the Commanders should definitely try to take advantage of that.
I think that one of the things for me, the overall X factor that we haven't talked about too much is going to be Washington secondary. This is something that was a huge point of emphasis for them in the offseason. We have started seeing strides of them, and even their first-round pick, Emmanuel Forbes, has had 2 good games. He had a couple big stops in the Cardinals game in week 1 and also several in the Denver game as well. So they're definitely going to want to keep that kind of momentum going, especially going up against Stephon Diggs. I think if they're able to have a good secondary presence, I feel like this front seven for Washington is going to dominate. I'm going to go with Washington in this one. I think they have a well-balanced offense. I've liked what I've seen from Sam Howell. They're going to be at home, and I feel like there's just new life in this organization ever since the new ownership. I'm going to go with the Commanders, or the team formerly known as the Washington
Okay.
Football Team.
And it's just going to be a lot to overcome. And teams like the Commanders might struggle a little bit in the sense that they just don't quite have the star power, I think. Like, I know they have Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin, but neither of those guys are as good as Stephon Diggs. And Josh Allen is miles ahead of where Sam Howell is at this point in time.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just think those two guys, they're going to be able to overcome, I think, honestly, a little bit of a talent gap in favor of the Commanders, especially that front seven. And that I think their offensive line might be a little better as well. So, to me, I think those two guys, they'll cover the gap, and I'll go with the Bills here.
Okay, I like it. No, it definitely is, and I know I picked the Commanders. It definitely is a step up in competition from what the Bills have played. I mean, you go beat the Cardinals at home, great, probably going to be the first overall pick. Then you go and beat Denver. I think the way they came back and beat Denver, especially to his defense coming into the season, at least people talked about this, still has a good defense, and really, like the final 3 quarters of the game, I mean, they were just able to move the ball at will against that team, both through the air with Brian Robinson. So it is a step up. This might maybe be a sleeper pick. I am probably the underdog in this situation, but just kind of one of those gut feelings. I wish we had kind of more overall statistics on how many yards the teams have given up to a certain point, because I definitely feel this is going to be a close matchup, and going to be one of the games outside of the Falcons game that I'm definitely going to be watching closely.
I would not be surprised if the Commanders do come out ahead, if the Commanders come out ahead in this one, just because I think matchup wise, the Commanders are a very physical team and the Bills are not so much. So it's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah. And so the Bills definitely last thing, they definitely are a little bit more battle tested, I feel, especially when it comes to that offensive line. Going up against Quentin Williams in week 1, going up against Max Crosby and company in week 2. They definitely are a little more battle tested. So another tough defensive front on the road. It's going to be fun. It's just going to be a fun game to watch in general. I'm probably going to go with the up and coming team.
Yeah. So I think that's going to wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on who you think is going to come out in this matchup. Is it going to be the Buffalo Bills? Is it going to be the Washington Commanders? Let us know what you think. Other than that, we will see you guys next time.